Everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. This is our Beast Tamer Bard build, episode... oh shit, Yeah, no. This is episode 196, I believe. Accidentally deleted that video. It's okay. That's why there's an undo button. Fucking A. I'm struggling. It happens. We're continuing to explore.
Let's see what we can do.
That guy only moves in 2 spaces. Next guy is a full 50 every time from that direction. Those front two are in lockstep? Yeah. I'm going from the left forward. Y'all gonna be nice? Christ. I can't get these back to in sync. It's got them perfectly out of sync. That's not true. That was close. I'm gonna walk away from this before I do this for another 20 minutes. I'm gonna see if maybe there's a place to figure out a guide. Because I could brute force that, but it is going to be just that. It's gonna be absolute fucking brute force. And I don't even know why or what I'm attempting to brute force at this point, so...
I finished here. Is there more? I finished here. Is there more?
All right.
The islands floating in the air are not the byproduct of some crazy magic. It is the energies of chaos that endow them with their bizarre properties. And they're not even the most amazing thing that can be found in the abyss. We've read that a couple times. As you leave the slave market, Sociel turns and stands motionless, staring at the crowd with a look of anguish on his face. His lips tremble and tears stream down his cheeks. I don't like either of these answers, right? Like, I know what's wrong with him. That's heart-wrenching, right? And I'm not going to tell him to pull himself together. Okay, this is no fun bad time place. Cool. The tall, thin vendor is swathed in a loose black robe. He is not a demon, but it is impossible to determine his race. His expressionless and hairless face is covered in tattoos and looks as if to be made of wax. His eyes are motionless. As you approach, the black figure almost doubles over as he sweeps into a low bow. The vendor moves with a supernatural delicacy and grace impossible for a human. He extends his arms, also covered in tattoos, towards you. The ink on his palms comes to life and forms the word, "Greetings, I am Krebus, vendor of magical lunatics." The voice of the hand sounds contemplative. "I can sense shadows, evil shadows that once served their old master. Viriavaxus, I'm assuming is how you pronounce that, whom I fought valiantly, but had not the strength to defeat. Beware of this one champion, for he is linked to powers both formidable and cunning." Something inside you awakens and casts a fiery glance at the slaver. You can see the darkness curling over the thin layer of his skin, or rather a shadow resembling darkness, a demon woven of shadows. Aww. Hey. Lippo, he just wants to sleep. And you won't stop licking him. Like, he doesn't want to be cleaned, he just wants to sleep. This could be a peaceful scenario if you just left him alone. The fighting begins. Mortal cat fat. Cat bat. Cat fat? Oh, he's a cat fat. A fat cat. We're gonna ask questions because... Questions. What kind of slaves can you offer? With a slight nod, Krebus points at a group of slaves standing nearby. All of them are completely motionless, their backs unnaturally straight. They seem to be drugged. Their eyes are entirely black, without a hint of pupil, and in the depths, tiny blue sparks. Hey. Stop trying to clean him. He's holding you away from him. Hey. What is your obsession? You calm down. Eyes are wide and dilated. You chill the fuck out. You're like, I will clean him viciously. Like you're causing a fight over him being clean. Leave that boy alone. In the depths, tiny blue sparks flicker like stars in the night sky. From time to time, some of the slaves utter something uncanny or unbearably comprehensible, then fall silent again. Tiny ink glyphs begin to appear rapidly on the slaver's palm as if drawn by a skilled scribe. My lunatics. Magical ingredients for ritual sacrifices. Dissolved in blood. Fermentation finished. Distillation finished. Deposited into practical self-propelled storage units inside these slaves' bodies. High magic potential. The goods were examined and certified by esteemed Willidus. Approved for trading. The description of the slaves almost makes them sound like golems, although I bet that's not what they are. Yeah, it's got that kind of homunculus vibe going on, right? I can sense darkness inside them. Not mundane darkness, which is merely the absence of light, but an embodied darkness that begets evil and possesses awareness instead of being emptiness and nothing. What cursed substances did he pump into these unfortunates? Keep an eye on them, for the darkness inside them waits for the right moment to be born into this world. What have you done to these slaves and why? Snakes made of letters crawl over Krebus's hands. They are no longer slaves. They are vessels of magic. Their bodily fluids were drained and replaced by potions and decoctions imbued with energy. Their dried mummies were filled with the dampness of magic, and their dehydrated brains were filled with the mysteries of the universe. Top quality, Nahindrian, as they say here in Alushanira. Who are you and where did you come from? 3 words appear on the vendor's palm. Krebus, from everywhere. The secretive stranger smiles lifelessly and shrugs. His soft, flowing movements are so smooth as to be almost indiscernible, as if he were not a creature of flesh, but of rather melting wax. Slaver's hands intertwined in the air in a graceful gesture reminiscent of two snakes. Perhaps this is how his kind says goodbye. Okay, we're gonna save, and then... because I kind of want to see what's what. Show me your magic wares. The slaver gives you another low bow. One of his eyes suddenly rolls out of its eye socket. With a neat, gentle movement, Krebus touches the eyeball and returns it to its normal place, and then points to his wares. Okay, he's got stuff. So, okay, what are we looking at here? Phantasmal Guide. +5 Ghost Touch Quarterstaff allows its wearer to cast illusion school spells as if they were 3 levels higher. That could be very good for, allows its wearer to cast illusion spells as if they were 3 levels higher. That's potentially good. Likely very good. Whenever the wearer of these boots casts the same spell for the 4th time during the day, their next spell becomes quickened as though using the quickened spell feat. Using a quickened... that's pretty interesting, actually. Ring of Imminent Demise. Whenever the wearer of this ring makes an attack of opportunity, the enemy must pass a Fortitude saving throw DC 26, which is okay, or be knocked down. The ring also grants a +2 competence bonus on attack and damage rolls with two-handed weapons. That's actually pretty decent as well. Jeez, what? This person gets good shit. I hate it. This robe grants the wearer a +3 dodge bonus to AC and +5 to unarmed attacks and damage rolls. Can only be worn by a monk of lawful evil alignment. And then we have quite a few components, actually. Unholy Shepherd. While wielding this ring with a sign of Baphomet, you can summon 2 CR14 half-fiendish minotaurs 3 times per day, and they will fight on your side for 10 minutes. However, if you die while wearing this ring, they are summoned too, but now as enemies. Wow. 66613. Okay. Okay. That's still pretty interesting. Pretty strong. Buy scrolls to learn. Damn, that's a lot of scrolls. A lot of money we would be spending. Gold coin from the flesh markets. Oh, this will allow us to teleport to the flesh markets. Ho hum, ho hum. I'm definitely considering purchasing some of those things. What? Buy your lunatics. 25,000 gold coins. The slaver gives you a false, emotionless smile. Intricate symbols appear on his forehead, twisting and merging until they finally form figures you know. 25000. Sure. Rebus's mouth falls wide open. Any human who tried to imitate his grimace would find their jaw badly dislocated. With delicate, neat movements, the vendor places the gold into his black, gaping maw, handful by handful, until he swallows all the money you've paid him. Then he makes a delicate gesture towards the slaves and gives an approving nod. A line of letters runs over his face. Don't delay using them. Magic is unpredictable. The lunatics don't seem to realize they have a new owner. They continue to daydream quietly, staring at something inside their minds and sometimes whispering inexplicable things. Champion, heed the advice that I give you, though I do so with a heavy heart. Do not let these unfortunates into your camp, for darkness has branded them with its ominous mark. They pose a threat, and my heart tells me that any attempt to show them mercy will lead to great loss and bloodshed. I don't like any of this. Your words make no impression on the lunatics. Perhaps they don't even understand them. The words on the vendor's palm read, "They cannot be set free." You forgot what the description of the flesh markets were? It could just as easily refer to a brothel or a butcher's shop. Yeah, but it's not in this one. It's slaves. You understand me? The unfortunates poisoned by Krebus's magic potions ignore your words. They continue to stare into the void with their eerie black eyes, whispering. What happened to you? The lunatic's hands start to move. With a grace that seems impossible for a mortal, his hands begin to draw something in the air. Finally, the lunatic starts talking. His hoarse voice is distinct and clear. Everything inside has boiled away and is now empty, as dark as a well. From the bottom of the well, you can see the stars, even when the sun is high in the sky. We have boiled away, and now we see the stars. Games get me depressed when we get to this point of... I can deal with demons. Slavers fuck me up. Hold up. Jaws of the Jackal. A pair of gauntlets made of a very dark metal and badly rusted. In a hidden compartment, there is a tiny diary. According to it, these gauntlets belong to Victor Svalt, a human who grew up in Carrion Hill, Ustalav, and was directed by his parents to go to higher education to become a wizard. During his classes outside his school, the class was ambushed by wild animals. In a panic, Victor fled from the class and away from the city, deeper into the woods. He traveled for a great deal of time, having no supplies to sustain himself. Eventually, he collapsed in the graveyard of a city in Ustalav, laying upon the loamy soil and finding it difficult to move forward. Feeling like he could make it with just a bit more energy, he decided to push on, consuming some of that awful, wretched ground and forcing his body to continue. He was then taken in by a cleric of Pharasma and began to reside and learn the arts of a cleric under his guidance. He did not feel like eating the first few nights after his arrival, even though he felt his body screaming out for nourishment, which was concerning to him. Even so, as he went to draw water from the well near the temple one night, he saw 4 hooded figures standing over the well. One cradled a dark iron gauntlet in its hand, and upon approaching the well, offered it to the human. He took the gauntlets, and immediately was struck and doubled over by pangs of intense hunger. Retching and heaving ensued, but when he finally recovered and stood up, the figures were gone. Later, Victor came into contact with an Abracondalu who shattered this gauntlet with its ability, causing Victor to fly into a rage of zeal. He used the broken shards of the item to dig into his own flesh, carving an unholy symbol of Trelmerixian? Trelmerixian? That sounds doable. Trelmerixian on his hand to serve as a catalyst for his magic until he could repent for allowing it to break. In time, after Dresden was retaken, the gauntlet was reforged at the very forge Staunton used. And he was beginning to dabble not only the dark summoning of daemons, but also the vicious powers of Blackfire. He had focused on summoning dangerous creatures and snatching souls, and the gauntlet understood this. This seems very disjointed. Like this there's a lot of interesting things in this story, but this seems like unrevised. Like it's a very disjointed story. Maybe I don't know if these are like backer stories or something like that. You know, like PoE did the backer stories with all of the looking into the souls of the past type situation. So maybe some of these items are like backer stories or something like that. But this definitely this feels roughly edited. These gauntlets grant a profane vigor effect and +2 bonus to natural armor to all evil creatures summoned by the wearer of these gauntlets. That's cool. If the wearer summons a Thanadaemon, they grant it a greater profane vigor effect and +4 natural armor bonus to AC. If the wearer summons any good outsider creature, it will attack the wearer and their allies. Okay. Not an item for this playthrough. Gotcha. Cool. Air Buffet? Okay. The Cambion, who gives you a smarmy bow, looks like he once tried to split in two, then changed his mind. His chest is twice as wide as it should be, and double pupils stare at you from each of his eyes. Every time this freakish creature opens his mouth, an impressive goiter swells on his neck. His voice has an unpleasant croaking quality, as if a giant toad had taken up residence in his throat. Would you like to buy some fresh flesh? You can call me Ragi. I am at your service. Okay. Who are you? Oh, God. What are you selling? Everybody calls me Ragi, and the name's just fine by me. I'm the top vendor here at the flesh markets, no matter what the others think. They sell expensive, classy goods, where I specialize in rabble and riffraff. My goods cost 10 times less than what the others are selling, but I have 100 times more clients than everyone else. Everyone needs a slave. Cheap, maybe slightly defective, still a slave. Big shots from the upper city prefer to do business with the others, but so what? The middle city feeds me much better. Great, I want to put one in you. A bullet, that is. I just want to fight and kill all of these slavers. I want to just go through, and the game is not going to let me do it. I get it. Augie raises his voice for the last part. You notice that the demon standing nearby casts cautious glances at the insolently grinning Cambion. It seems this shabby specimen has some authority here after all. Besides, I don't just sell live goods. I sell the stuff that used to belong to these poor fools as well. You'll find some extremely valuable and interesting items among the loot taken during slave raids. With a casual nod towards Ember, the demon grimaces with disgust. Incidentally, I'm willing to take this crippled waif off your hands. If you expect to sell her yourself, don't bother. No one will want to buy such a puny thing. But I can add her to my lot of Golarion slaves. You're mistaken. I'm not for sale. Ember smiles cheerfully, because she's Ember. Show me these spoils you've looted. 100,000 Rusty Dawn, +4 corrosive burst. Whenever the wielder of this +4 corrosive burst battle axe confirms a critical hit, it deals 4 times damage instead of the normal 3 times, and weakens the enemy, making it suffer a -3 penalty to strength and constitution scores for 2 rounds. Whenever this effect occurs, the wielder must pass an athletics check DC 37 or the axe will be stuck, making melee attacks unavailable for the next round. What the fuck? If you have full athletics at this point in the game, that's not a difficult DC to hit, but it could happen. As in, like, it could be missed. That's kind of crazy. Brutal Decay. Again, corrosive... a theme. Whenever the wielder of this +4 corrosive burst club confirms a hit against an enemy, just a hit, the target becomes covered in acid, suffering 1d6 acid damage per round for 1d4 rounds. If the wielder confirms a critical hit, the enemy instead suffers 1d10 acid for 2d3 rounds. Multiple applications of the effect doesn't stack. The stronger effect replaces the weaker one. That's unfortunate. +5 heavy crossbow, rude stopper. Whenever the wielder of this +5 heavy crossbow lands a hit, the enemy must pass a will saving throw, DC 30, or become unable to cast spells or attacks for 1 round. Affected enemy is immune to this rounds. A critical hit does ×3 damage, so that would be ×2. That's a useful note for the difficulty settings you've been looking at. It depends on the weapon. So different weapons have different critical hit rates. So, for example, Balanced Defender, ×2 crit hit rate. It tends to be that two-handed weapons, or weapons that are like unique-ish, like more exotic, have higher crit rates. So a lot of two-handed weapons are ×3 criticals, and then there are rarer cases for ×4 criticals. That's actually why I'm using a Scythe on Sela right now, is because it has such a high crit rate. But it has a lower base damage. A lot of the ×4s have lower base damages, but not always. You know. That rude stopper is actually, honestly, kind of crazy. Will saving throw DC 30 is not bad. +5 is awesome, right? Like, this is actually, if I had someone who was legitimately using crossbows, to the point of the, like, this is almost worthwhile just to pick up on, like, Ninio or myself, just to use on turns that they're not doing anything else, because all we have to do is hit, and if we hit, we force a DC 30 saving throw, which is actually okay. That's kind of interesting. Speed Gnome Hooked Hammer. Speed is just a haste effect, basically. Extra attack. Thanks, you didn't know that. Your use of the Final Fantasy series where critical hits usually do ×2. Yeah, so it's a pretty common thing. Most often in a lot of games, even TTRPGs, right? Like Dungeons and Dragons, for example, it does ×2 damage, or it does ×2 the dice roll in D&D, right? But Pathfinder is a more mechanically, what's the word I was looking for? Crunchy, yeah. So more mechanically crunchy kind of game. So it has crit ranges and differing critical, hit rates and things like that. So that's how we can get up to scenarios where we're critting for like 300, 400 plus damage. So a ducklet. Hell yeah. Fucking ducklet. Blackened Rags. Robe grants a +10 competence bonus on knowledge arcana checks. It also increases the DC from spells from the witch spell list and hexes by 1. I mean, Blackened Rags, it's like specifically designed for or Ember. That's kind of funny. We've got, this is kind of crazy. We've got a lot to potentially spend money on here. Amulet of Quick Draw, +2 insight bonus on attack and damage rolls with ranged weapons against large or bigger enemies. Also gives a +4 bonus on initiative rolls. Also good for Arushale. Very good for Arushale. +4 enhancement could be good for any of the animals. Call to Violence, that's a +4 resistance cloak. Grants it's wear a 30-foot aura, which grants all enraged allies in the area a +2 on attack and damage rolls. We don't rage, so that's a really good item, but it's not an item for us. So those blackened rags, really good. Quick draw, really quite good. The rude stopper, actually interesting. Fuck. Show me your slaves. I can offer you a shipment of Golarion slaves. They certainly aren't in the best shape. Golarions are notorious for their fragility, but torturing them sure is fun. As Raggy grins, you spot at least 2 rows of needle-sharp teeth in his mouth. The Golarion slaves are clad in torn rags, their bodies emaciated. Many have wounds and cuts. Their blank indifference to everything happening around them suggests these unfortunates lost any hope of escape long ago. You poor souls. What have they done to you? It's over now. We'll help you. Where are you from? Come from all over, my lady paladin. Most of us were captured back in Canabras. Me, I got caught on my way to Neurosian. On leave, going to visit my family. Quite a journey you've had. You will get to Neurosian and see your family again, I swear on my life. Hear me? Hold tight, and tell the others not to lose heart. Sela turns to you and says gravely, we must get them out of here at all costs. We cannot abandon our own. If we did, we'd be worse than scum. Arushale's presence causes a rumble of discontent among the slaves. She flinches under their angry and hateful gazes. She opens her mouth to say something, but fails to find the right words and just sadly lowers her eyes. Not even gonna read it. Sociel addresses the slave in a soft but resolute manner. Brother, you should not insult her. She has repented and now fights for a righteous cause. She is a good friend and a worthy crusader. I swear to you in Shellen's name. The cleric's words are followed by embarrassed and confused grumbling among the slaves. The succubus's eyes turn to Sociel. They are full of relief and sincere gratitude. A shy smile appears on her lips. Seizing the moment and deftly spitting at the mephit in the cage, Raggy nods at him. If you wish, you can also purchase this little blighter. He won't be of much use, but you can entertain yourself for some time torturing him. He is sharp-tongued and quite resilient. I guarantee you'll spend several interesting and pleasant evenings killing this little freak. Chuckling, Raggy watches as the mephit wipes the spit from his face and mutters curses under his breath. The mephit's voice is angry but tinged with respect. Raggy bids you farewell with a sneaky smile. Please come again. I have interesting samples of live flesh here from time to time, and my prices aren't too Nahindrian. Raggy spits out the last word with a special mixture of envy and contempt. Okay. We're just gonna check and see how much they cost, basically. 15,000. Okay. Except... Raggy looks at one of the slaves who can barely stand. With a subtle motion, he throws a spell that slits the unfortunate's throat as if he used a serrated knife. Raggy spits in disgust at the body on the ground. He doesn't even bother to wipe the splashes of blood from his face. That one was completely defective. It'd be shameful to offer it to a respectable buyer. Ivu crouches and growls softly. There are not many things that can anger the guileless dragon, but it looks like the slaver managed to do just that. Eat him. Eat his fucking face off. The heavy silence of the hand of the inheritor is almost palpable. It fills the air like a calm before the storm. Then the angel's voice explodes in your head, roaring and furious like a battle horn. He killed him like an animal. Heaven, I knew I was descending into the depths of evil, but there must be a limit. There must be a limit to it all. If not today, then someday. I will descend into this den of sin to punish the murderers and save their victims. You know, fuck it. Let's just see what happens when we pull the trigger. Out of nowhere, a knife with a wide, jagged blade appears in Roggy's hand. Bending the knife skillfully with his too numerous fingers, he leers at you without fear. You want to dance? Oh, okay, he flees.
I
Gotcha.
refuse to accept their statement.
Just one guard. Seal the deal and let's boogie.
I will resist.
Begone, fiend!
Fucking through with Bismuth's head.
The light take you! Go.
Oh, I could have cleared that. That's my bad. Can I clear it? On. It's not an emotion effect apparently. Don't think we actually want to. That was just because it made me feel better to do that right then, honestly. But we're not gonna cut a swath through the flesh markets at this current point in time. Because there are legitimately, from a mechanical standpoint, items I might want to buy before we do that. And I don't know if we can free people afterwards, so. Before we actually go around killing all of the slavers, we're going to investigate all of the things. Master Sarazakis is delighted to behold Lady Zepsamira and Lady Shamira. It is great honor for him. How may he assist you? Hepzimira is looking to buy some slaves, the best slaves. It's for an important job. Allow me to present this fine specimen, an extraordinary, belligerent, destructive, and vicious slave. He killed 7 hunters before his capture. Is that Hepzimira? Shut your mouth, meatball. Your breath stinks. I don't need gladiators or bodyguards. Looking for a pack of strong demons, ones who are not very bright and can obey orders. That's Hepzimira, I believe. In that case, perhaps my lady would be interested in this batch of creatures recently captured in the lower city. They are all strong and quite stupid. Zamira, what do you want with these puny creatures? They're small fry, fit only for cannon fodder for the Crusades. I would suggest... This is Shamira, they said? I can't zoom in or anything like that. I wish I could see more. They seem fine to me. Finish the preparations, then send them to the Harem of Ardent Dreams. And be quick about it. Oh, Hepzimira. Making enemies. Oh, hey, it's this guy again. Hello up there. I am blinded by your beauty. Please descend to this humble mortal and grant me the honor of a date with you. Very dangerous demon. You shouldn't mess with him. The young man smiles and raises a finger to his lips. Don't worry, he whispers. I know what I'm doing. The demon gives an indignant snort and begins to gurgle angrily. His tiefling slave translates. Master Sarzaxis says you have 10 seconds to get out of his sight, or he'll command his lackeys to gouge out your eyes. All right, I can take a hint. I'm leaving. The young man backs away and jots something down in his notebook. Done. Excellent source material. Now I'll go have a drink or two in the tavern and get to work. Earless flirt. Yeah, why is this young man seeking out dates in the abyss?
Beautiful.
That was a good question. Oh! There's a little guy named... Oh, it is. It's not a little guy named Mandragora. It is a little Mandragora. Little Mandragora! We have read that before. There are so many people to talk to here, and so many of them are slavers. This is really interesting stuff, but it's also one of those situations where it's like distasteful, and I just want to stab all of them. Regardless, that's going to be the end of this episode. We worked our way through a little bit more of Lushanira. Still a lot of stuff to do. We have over here the 10,000 Delights. We have the Upper City. We have the Harem of Ardent Dreams. We have whatever is going on over there. We have the Asamar's quest, which I still think is going to be a bad guy, but we'll see. We got the rest of the flesh markets to go through. We still have Battle Bliss, right? So lots of stuff still to do in Lushanira. That's going to be the end of this episode. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.